Good morning. We continue today with our reading of the Pilgrim's Progress. Christian has just been left alone again on the other side of the Slough of Despond. Pliable has gone back, and so that's where we pick up today. Now, as Christian was walking solitary by himself, he espied one afar off, come crossing over the field to meet him. And their hap was to meet just as they were crossing the way of each other. The gentleman's name was Mr. Worldly Wiseman. He dwelt in the town of Carnal Policy, a very great town, and also hard by from whence Christian came. This man then, meeting with Christian, and having some inkling of him, for Christian's setting forth from the city of destruction was much noised about, not only in the town where he dwelt, but also it began to be the town talk in some other places. Master Worldly Wiseman, therefore, having some guess of him, by beholding his laborious going, by observing his sighs and groans and the like, began thus to enter into some talk with Christian. How now, good fellow? Whither away after this burdened manner? Christian, a burdened manner indeed, as ever I think poor creature had. And whereas you ask me whither away, I tell you, sir, I am going to yonder wicket gate before me. For there, as I am informed, I shall be put into a way to be rid of my heavy burden. Hast thou a wife and children? Yes, but I am so laden with this burden that I cannot take that pleasure in them as formerly, methinks, as if I had none. Wilt thou hearken to me if I give thee counsel? If it be good, I will, for I stand in need of good counsel. I would advise thee then that thou with all speed to get thyself rid of thy burden, for thou wilt never be settled in mind till then, nor canst thou enjoy the benefits of the blessing which God hath bestowed upon thee till then. That is that which I seek for, even to be rid of this heavy burden, but get it off myself I cannot, nor is there a man in our country that can take it off my shoulders. Therefore I am going this way, as I told you, to be rid of my burden. Who bid you to go this way to be rid of your burden? A man that appeared to me to be a very great and honorable person. His name, as I remember, is Evangelist. I, Mr. Worldly Wiseman said, betrow him for his counsel. There is not a more dangerous and troublesome way in the world than is that unto which he has directed thee, and that thou shalt find, if thou wilt be ruled by his counsel. Thou hast met with something already, for I see the dirt of the Slough of Despond is upon thee. But that slough is the beginning of sorrows that do attend those that go on in that way. Hear me, I am older than thou. Thou art like to meet within the way which thou goest, wearisomeness, painfulness, hunger, perils, nakedness, sword, lions, dragons, darkness, and in a word, death, and what not. These things are certainly true, having been confirmed by many testimonies. And why should a man so carelessly cast himself away by giving heed to a stranger? Christian. Why, sir, this burden upon my back is more terrible to me than are all these things which you have mentioned. Nay, methinks I care not what I meet in the way. So be I can also meet with deliverance from my burden. Worldly Wiseman. How camest thou by thy burden at first? By reading this book in my hand. I thought so. And it happened unto thee as other weak men, who meddling with things too high for them, do suddenly fall into thy distractions, which distractions do not only unman men, as thine I perceive has done thee, but they run them upon desperate ventures, to obtain what they know not what. Christian. I know what I would obtain. It is ease from my heavy burden. Worldly Wiseman. But why wilt thou seek for ease this way, seeing so many dangers attend it, especially since, hadst thou but patience to hear me, I could direct thee to the obtaining of what thou desirest, without the dangers that thou in this way wilt run thyself into. Yea, and the remedy is at hand. Besides, I will add that instead of those dangers thou shalt meet with much safety, friendship, and content. Christian. Pray, sir, open this secret to me. Worldly Wiseman. Why, in yonder village. The village is named Morality. There dwells a gentleman whose name is Legality. A very judicious man, and a man of a very good name, that has skill to help men off with such burdens as thine are from thy shoulders. Yea, to my knowledge he hath done a great deal of good this way. Ay, and besides, he hath skill to cure those that are somewhat crazed in their wits with their burdens. To him, I said, thou mayest go, and be helped presently. His house is not quite a mile from this place, and if he should not be at home himself, he hath a pretty young man to his son, whose name is Civility. That can do it, as well as the old gentleman himself. There, I say, thou mayst be eased of thy burden, and if thou art not minded to go back to thy former habitation, as indeed I would not wish thee, thou mayest send for thy wife and children to thee for this village, where there are houses now standing empty, one of which thou mayest have at reasonable rates. Provision there is also cheap and good, and that which will make thy life more happy is to be sure there thou shalt live by honest neighbors in good credit and fashion. Now Christian was somewhat at a stand, but presently he concluded, if this be true which the gentleman hath said, my wisest course is to take his advice. And with that he thus farther spoke. Sir, which is my way to this honest man's house? Worldly Wiseman. Do you see thy yonder high hill? Christian. Yes, very well. Worldly Wiseman. By that hill you must go, and the first house you come at is his. And so Mr. Worldly Wiseman has directed Christian in a way that we all can see is not going to turn out well, but is nevertheless alluring to many of us. The way of legality, the way of civility, the way of morality. Will it be able to release Christian from his burden? That's what we'll look at next time we read the Pilgrim's Progress. Hope you have a great day.